offline, in person.
I love this. Thank you so much for starting it. I would say that I think the thing that to make any of these ideas move forward is that we need to dedicate 10 to 15 minutes on all the agendas moving forward to do this, make sure where this gets crossed off in the agreements.
All right, so let's pretend like we're heading into our February meeting.
I put it under spring.
It's not purple.
And I don't know what it says.
Black and Heart Month.
Yeah. So it's both Black History Month and American Heart Association.
Yeah.
So focusing on heart issues and, Black women led organizations or something like that.
So raise the discussion up to the strategy. What Lisa was taking us around to is our purpose to kind of, it's not really a question, but given that one purpose is to, kind of ground the everyday Arlington female, everyday sort of CSW, experience in our content, / also trying to highlight topics and issues and events that are important. If we had somebody who was, their full-time job was dedicated to social media and content and stuff, we would say, oh, we do both, right? Let's do this, and also make sure we have some directed advertising for WOB, because that's gonna be 1 month out. I guess I'm asking us at this stage, like, what do we want to focus on for February and January, and what do we think we have the bandwidth to put together? I mean, we get some ideas capitalizing on the Happy New Year. New Year, we just met, we just had this meeting. Sharing out what some of our priorities for this year are, or some kind of high level outcomes from this meeting.
I think this is
I sort of pulling back the curtain on CSW a bit.
yeah.
I think this is entirely doable if we, because what I was thinking, I think Lisa brought it up, the meet the commissioners, or maybe it was Janine. If we do a meet the commissioners once a month post, we have 12. So it works out like perfectly if one person, like I just charted it out here. So, Caroline, January, Marguerite, February, and then so on and so forth down the.
I call it February.
If everybody takes 1 month to just brainstorm whatever their month associated with it. So Lisa, you're on November, for example. So what do we have here for November? Native American Heritage Month, Thanksgiving. If you want to take 30 minutes to write a blurb, send it to Janine or myself, and then we could just put it in a template and then hit post.
Yeah, and
I
then
think if
it saves
everybody,
you guys time.
right, if everybody just takes on a month associated with your meet the commissioner post, I think it's something that is easily doable. It doesn't have to be just one person doing it. One person can put it all in the template and hit post, but everybody can take 15 to 30 minutes to research and write something interesting, and if you're not good at graphics, that's fine. We can
But even if you just make in Canva, a place for an image.
right, exactly.
If that, we could just say oh, here's Lisa headshot, put it in there, and here's Lisa's text, and we
Yeah.
just make sure the text doesn't say
Right, exactly.
Marguerite
So,
did.
right.
Okay, so just to be clear, that's two separate things, right?
Yeah, it's two separate things.
Each commissioner is about Lisa.
Yeah, and then Lisa would take on November and pick out one there's 3 right there. I think all of these have at least 2 or 3. So,
Yeah. That's why I left a lot of space. I put 2 in each on purpose.
yeah,
And then I added things that we have on our calendar, like Take Back the Night for April, and then Women of Vision and the CSW breakfast in March. I added on there, but everything else has only 2. Oh, August County Fair as well. So everything else has 2.
Can we add one more to any of the months?
so we're gonna do, okay, so Caroline, we'll switch. Caroline.
Susan, did you have a question?
Yes, I asked.
Oh, hold on, I can't hear you.
Oh,
So the way I had it out here, I just figured we would start, like, cause we have 12, there's 12 of us, and I just put you for January, but if you wanna switch January with
Yeah,
April,
switch to
so
April.
Barbara would grab January.
I don't know, let's ask, does anybody have a
Can you say something now?
affiliation?
Yes,
Actually, as a
can you
matter of
hear
fact,
me?
I want August.
Can you hear me?
Hold on,
I
it's
could,
not.
So I guess before we all start grabbing
Yeah.
months,
I could put it in the
the
chat.
proposal is
Okay,
in
try it
addition
now.
to doing
Can you hear me now?
a meet the commissioner each month.
Yeah.
The commissioner would also be responsible for creating all of the social media content for that entire.
that.
How about now?
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Did you have
Oh,
a comment?
great. Okay,
Now turn it over to you.
okay. What I just want to ask, can we add another event?
Hold on. Somebody's speaking right now and I'll turn it over to you.
Okay,
Here's my bio for Lisa Caroline, and then here are 4 or 5 other posts for the month of April.
That sounds like a lot of work.
That's what I would.
So here's the way I ration this out of my brain. So everybody takes on a month for the, whatever. Would just be a photo, what made you want to join, how long you've been a commissioner, your favorite thing about Arlington / one thing you think Arlington can improve upon, and then a fun fact about you. If that's like too much for everybody, I think it's okay. I mean, I honestly think it'll take like 10 to 15 minutes at most, and it doesn't require you to really do any of the creative work. It would just be no, like you don't even have to give us a bio. You just give us a photo of yourself, and then this is a meet the commissioners. Just give us a photo of yourself, and then answer these like 3 questions, like what made you when you joined, what made you want to join, your favorite thing about Arlington / one thing you think Arlington can improve upon, and then a fun fact about you. So that is separate entirely from the 2 or 3 topics, or we would social media posting, social media posts that we want to do for that month. So I was thinking that whoever has whatever month, January or whatever, you just take like 5 to 10 minutes to create or find an infographic or something interesting about domestic violence or self-defense month. If we don't want to do that, I think that's okay too. One of us or 2 of us can be responsible for that. But I do want to do the meet the commissioner. So I think meet the commissioners month.
Can we do something somewhat, I guess my opinion is on someone else doing that, so who wants to go make a commissioner?
Everyone has to do it.
And then one of them pick one other topic. That way you're not responsible for a whole month of content or whatever, just one other topic. And starting it that way, ideally it's something that you're interested in or know something about. So it shouldn't be a heavy lift, to gather the content, then should go for someone else to put into a.
Everybody. It's February, Janine is March, Barbara is April, Susan is May, I'm June, Jade is July, Laurel is August, Arginda is September, Grace is October, Lisa is November, and Adriana is December. And then Courtney, we're gonna put you on March.
Is there anything stopping us from sending out, but whenever you're done with the template, sending out the template and the questions now to everybody?
Yeah,
And we
we
just
can do it
collect
now.
them all this month and then we can just plan them for the rest of the year?
Absolutely, I would absolutely prefer that. What prompt do you want to change?
It's just one something about what you like about Arlington or what we should change.
Yeah, what's your favorite thing about Arlington, or how you feel Arlington can improve, but we can next that and put in something
Or
else.
maybe something like, I guess it says, when did you join the commission?
Mhm.
Maybe just kind of when and why.
Okay.
Maybe just leave it open, right? Like, I don't want to like rubber stamp it and say,
I will say that there are other commissions that take the term limit very, very seriously. So if we say that people have been on the commission for like 10 years, that might raise red flags.
Okay, let's take that off then. Good call.
let's pause and let Susan big chair in.
And then we also have, thank you, who raised a hand as well. Go ahead,
Hi, it's
Susan.
Marguerite. I think I
Oh.
heard my name for February, and so I'm just asking for a later month. Summertime would be good.
We can't change the months.
Sure we can. I can take it. I can switch it for you.
Okay, yeah, this is a photo and props, but okay, cool. So Ginger, you're September and Marguerite's gonna go in February, and then Marguerite will go in September. Okay, cool. Okay,
Thank you.
no problem.
All right, Susan?
Yes, thank you. So I have, sorry, I have
I-
May.
Here's the.
I think it's on your end. I can't hear you. We were able to hear Marguerite.
Wait a minute, I didn't touch anything. Hold on.
Let's see.
My mic is open. You can't hear me?
Marguerite, can you say something just in case to make sure it's not on my end?
Sure. Can you
Okay.
hear me now?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
You can't hear me.
Is she muted?
I don't know if she's muted. The only thing I can think of is logging back in and coming back out.
Okay.
So
Could I-
all of us.
Right after, probably tomorrow, because COB. Tomorrow COB, yeah.
Can we just confirm the month when you do it? So like the office swapping.
Yep, I'll put everybody's name by your month. Actually, let me do it.
They can be. Casual, doing it right now. Yeah, no shot.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be headshot. It can be your favorite photo of yourself. Throwback photo.
Does not exist. In addition.
How's that, Courtney? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes,
Yay.
thank you.
Okay. Tell me when I could speak.
Go ahead, Susan.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, did I hear correctly? I'm the month of May?
Yes.
Okay, and are we getting this all emailed to us, the different topics?
Yep. I'm gonna send
Okay.
it. I'm typing it now. I should send it by
Great.
COB tomorrow.
Okay, I just wanted to mention one that is in October. I don't know if you're all open to this and if you're limiting it to just 2, but I think it's important to recognize disabled people. It's National Disability Employment Awareness Month.
Okay,
Well, I don't know how you all feel about that, but it's glaringly missing on our list.
we're gonna add it right now.
Great.
I think she said,
Does that say self-defense?
oh, does what say, oh, yeah, so
That's why-
self-defense and health and wellness is meant to go under October.
I'm a black.
Are you?
That's really cool. No, I'm October.
Oh, you should switch.
You could teach me black belt. You could teach me a self-defense trick.
Do a video. Oh, we could.
That would be so
Taxi.
cool.
I need to learn some self. Like it keeps me up at night, but I haven't taken a self.
The library does self-defense.
Yeah, the
classes.
library,
Yeah.
there's also really good ones at most of the ranges.
I got it.
Boom Boom Firearms is a good.
So,
Okay, go ahead.
Sasha. What's are you April? No one gives name to April.
Is that your month?
No, it's my month.
She's January.
Sasha is gonna send out, so it sounds like it's a little more frustrating, the months that we all have to do our bios. We don't have to select our topic in accordance with that month.
Yes.
It makes sense that you have a special interest area, like me, I jacked April and something that. Does anybody else want to grab a topic?
To contribute social media wise is what you're saying.
I guess I'll just say, from our conversation earlier about like communications, aside from like the overall strategy for the commission, I feel okay with, each month sending an email to Janine and Jinder with like 4 or 5 different posts with pictures and captions, just so they can upload it to the accounts. So I feel okay taking that on for this year, but that to say, if someone doesn't have the bandwidth or the interest in writing a post about something, they don't have to. But if there is something that someone feels passionate about that is missing from what I send, then by all means, send it their way or send it our way and we can make sure it gets posted. But don't want anybody to feel like, they have to, I guess would be my suggestion.
What about if we have another month, like I have May, but I'd like to write something on the disabled in October? Can we also?
You could write a post for any month of the year, whatever year.
Yeah, but I guess what we do want to establish is that if anyone's going to take on a
And I
topic,
can like send that, well, I wanna write it. down.
choose it now,
We'll
because
have-
Lisa's offering to fill in the gaps. Now it's like, right?
Time out for July.
I can do June.
You don't have to pick a month.
Yeah, you
Sorry, but no, I
You
just,
can pick a
sorry,
topic,
July
yeah.
is just political participation, and government policy, which I think go really closely together, and there's no reason to separate them. So,
So I can
And so you like
create,
that for you?
yes, put Grace there.
maybe we create a Google Doc or something of
Yeah.
all the different topics, and if somebody wants to put their name on it, they can.
Perfect.
If not, then.
And by putting your name on it, you are tying yourself into doing it. So don't put your name next to something 6 months away from now and then forget to do it. Because Grace will come after you. I mean, Lisa will come after you.
And
Right,
I mean, with
Lisa,
my
you-
black belt that I'm learning in
Yeah.
October.
I also think, when we put this in a Google Doc, we will also have in that folder is where you put the content, right? We don't want to email it to Courtney and Courtney has to figure out who to send it to,
No,
right? Like, when you're welcome to email this morning. We don't want to put it on Courtney and try to figure out who to send it to, right? Like, we're gonna take responsibility and put our stuff, so that way Grace or whoever's going in there can just grab it.
Lisa,
And I was looking at it when I said it.
no, you're totally good. I just want to make sure,
I'm getting.
because we stick close together and we work on the same commission when it comes to.
And you were both nominated at the same time.
All right, does anyone
It's really-
feel, if there's anything anyone feels passionate about, can you like let us know? Myself or Caroline knows, so we can write it down, or you can come up here and put your name on it.
Can you put my name by March? Because I'm doing March stuff anyway. I'm usually in there doing it.
I guess one general question I have just about, I don't know if this falls under like county rules or just commission rules or something. When it comes to like promoting events or groups in Arlington, because I want to make it relevant to the
Right.
people in Arlington. Are there certain things we can't like endorse or like put our name on? Like, if there's like a politician or like a representative, are we allowed to say, oh, they're hosting this women's event? Is that,
I would say, and somebody can disagree with me, but I would say anyone the county funds, so any of our like county, like not nonprofits, but the nonprofits of the county fund, which is pretty much all the big ones. Chamber of Commerce and anyone that's a sitting elected official. We will take sponsorship money from running elected officials, but I would say if they're, like Don Byer hosting his women event, we could promote that. But if there was like another person running against Don Byer that's hosting a women's whatever, probably not.
okay.
Does anyone disagree?
Interested in
And
answering.
may I add to what Janine said? Also be careful with politicians who are in campaign mode. You want to not
Yes.
comment on the campaign.
But we will take their money from W Women Division.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What I was asking was about in developing some of this content. If there's another event taking place in Arlington, are we prohibited from highlighting that for any reason? And when I said she didn't answer a question, it says it depends, right? Like, is it a campaign activity versus a thing? And I think she said it depends. So it's kind of a litmus test, but I think she explained what it is.
But you know, just check with Caroline or something, whoever the.
Yeah, I have a pretty good handle on it, but like if Aspire is funded by the county, they're also in this building. If Aspire is hosting an event about whatever, and we wanted to do that, I would say that's safe.
But if it was like
But if it was,
Arlington Democrats or something, probably not.
yeah,
Janine,
unless there was also an event for the Arlington Republicans, they're the independent party, and I don't even think they have.
Right.
Well, let's say this, let's say that there's a Women's History Day parade. And the Democratic Committee, whatever it's called, is a sponsor of it, but so is Ace Man, and so is We Aren't, right? Like, that's not all out of bounds.
Okay.
right.
Um,
Caroline, John-
Not take back the night, like a lot of times we do have partisan
Susan,
sponsors. But the overall event is not partisan and fair. Yeah, I was just thinking about the timing of this, which is why I was maybe writing. I was thinking content wise, we typically have a lot to say after the fair, right? In terms of what we heard and who we saw, and it's a way to like, I think really make it local, but then we also have the pre-fair. I'm not kicking any of these topics to the curb. I'm just suggesting that we might reserve some bandwidth there.
And don't we do like surveys at the county fair? I think it would be really cool to like put a post up afterwards, like what we learned, like this is what is appealing to Arlingtonians and things like that.
And not to get too like out there, but we could even do like a store, like an Instagram story that says like, you weren't able to make it to the county fair. This is what our survey was for this year. Click on what you would want to vote on.
But I would never think that you would do something to out there. I just want that to be on the record. You know, like,
I think she was calling you boring.
in like in the best way, like.
Alright, so is anybody committed to going once, going twice?
So this is totally, Ginger, we can put you down for self-defense.
Yeah, yeah.
Even like a little video of you.
I think it would be cool to
She's
get some
like,
like video
Yeah.
as well, so that would be really cool.
Actually think I have a picture kicking the pizza.
Perfect.
But I was also gonna say that in addition to like all these events, we do have to promote Women of Vision, Arlington County Fair. And we always take pictures and post those.
Or stuff, right? So yeah, making sure we're acknowledging the bandwidth needed in those periods of time. Go ahead, Courtney.
So Susan placed this in the chat. Can you hear us? Are you able to speak?
I can hear you.
I
Can
can't hear
me?
you. We can't hear. But in the chat, she said, thanks, Courtney. Don Byer has a yearly conference on women. Is that something we can get behind? I'll also take the National Disability Employment Awareness Month topic.
Can we just post the Don Meyer issue in the last meeting?
I don't remember if disability is, oh, it is October.
It's best there.
But I think as other things come up and if things are not as necessary or something else is more important, we can shift things around.
Mhm.
And we have a hand up, Marguerite.
I just wanted to add a comment to the what we can and cannot support. We should all try to remember that as commissioners, we represent the county board because we report to them. So we cannot say or do anything that might give off the appearance that the county board is behind something unless we are certain that it is something the county board supports.
Can I add another comment just for like the content and outreach? Because I think part of what I was reading, part of the goal of the outreach, or what is it? Forums and special events, something like that, is to connect with other commissions and groups. And so as we're thinking about like activities or anything we like want to highlight, you know, I'm sure other commissions are also, you know, thinking about some of these things that we want to highlight. For example, there's an LGBTQ plus advisory committee. It would be wise or helpful to figure out, like, are they posting? Are they organizing anything? How do we support them and elevate their work? And so that will help maybe minimize the work that we need to do if we collaborate a little bit. And so it might be good to think about that. And I was thinking, you know, for the Immigrant Heritage Month in June, like what are our other groups that may be focused on immigrants issues, like within the county already working on, right? That we don't need to, not everything has to be done from scratch, that we can collaborate with other groups, which I guess is part of our outreach team.
I was amplifies reach too.
Yeah,
Who had their hand up?
especially because there's a option to collaborate on posts on Instagram, so if we like collaborate with them, it'll just cross post on our feed. And then we won't have to post it at all.
Yeah.
This is Marguerite, if I can add something to Adriana's comment.
Yeah.
Last year, some of you may recall that Arbor and I did research on all the other area groups and nonprofits and commissions. Now, because of the conversation on communications, I already sent you all an email with the attached list of what are the other area commissions on the status of women. However, we also researched the list of all the other groups. And so what we can do from that is what Barbara and I had started on and should have been reporting on is where do we go from there? Is there something that we do want to do from an outreach perspective or narrow down? I have that information, happy to share it again with anybody. Adriana, you weren't on the commission when we distributed that, so I know that you don't have it, but we can certainly send it out before we have the outreach committee meeting.
Mhm.
Are we able to highlight our social media pages on our CSW webpage? Okay.
I believe.
On like the
they're linked already.
CSW webpage?
On the Arlington County website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're linked already. Hold on, let me see.
Our personal.
Probably linked to the
No,
county.
not our personal socials.
The commission.
The
It's
county.
probably linked to the county
Your-
social media,
Right.
to the individual, I don't know if they would allow it, but I could check.
I was just curious, because I figure if people are interested in it and going to the website, then connecting them to our pages so they can follow what's going on be interesting, but understand can't do that on a county website.
I know on our Eventbrite page, which constitutes a good amount of our traffic, we do have the Facebook and Instagram link.
Yeah, they have. At the bottom, it is linked for the, let's see this Facebook is listed. It goes to the Arlington County, so down here, it has
Yeah.
the number, that's just Arlington, but somewhere in, it's not in the body here, but I'm sure we could like possibly put it
So for,
somewhere here, contact, yeah. We have our phone number or a phone number and an email. We could definitely ask, is it worth?
so for social media, that's not manned by the county. I don't think they're gonna
Mm.
post it on the county site, but I can double check, but I don't think. Now, if we want to share something on the county social media, we do have a platform where I usually send it, it's called the Tweet Squad. And they'll put it on their social media, but in terms of having an individual may not, but I can double check.
Yeah, no worries, but just curious.
That'd be helpful.
Good to know about the tweet squad, though.
I
I've
know.
never heard of that.
That's perfect.
This is great. I think we were missing this conversation for a while.
So Sasha's gonna send us out.
Yeah.
Our, urban photo assignments.
Oh, sorry, that was really gonna say, if anybody does not have a photo that they feel like is perfect for this or a photo that they like themselves, please reach out to me. I'm happy to do a headshot for you.
I have way too many photos that like them.
Do you say you have way too many photos of yourself that you like already?
I love that.
Honestly, love it.
Picture on the county website is a selfie in my car. I think you can see my seatbelt.
At least you're wearing it.
Doesn't mean that you have to wait until.
Yeah.
In fact, once we get our tasking, we don't do it. Sasha does help, I think, if we use the CSW folder
Oh, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
everybody puts their stuff in there.
Yes, yes. And also, we need to come up with a content posting calendar. I think with the meetings, I think it'll just probably to meet the commissioner. I think that'll be awesome. We can just auto, auto populate that to post like the second or we have our meetings the second Thursday of the month, so we can just post those the second Thursday of the month. I think the second Thursday is already passed, so for you, we can do it next week or week after next, but, yeah.
And just another kind of general question, are we trying to drive like engagement and public participation with, so like, should we post, oh, our next meeting is February 12th. It's gonna be here and, or you can call in and we want like more people joining,
Do we want more people joining?
or not, like, not necessarily as a commissioner, but like, you know.
I mean, if they're interested, I think something that could be cool too is, after, we can make it a carousel post, so we can have everybody's, photo And then, the text and the caption, and then on the second photo, or even the third photo, it could be like, join our meeting, we're meeting this month or whatever. We meet the second Thursday of the month at this time, this location. And I think that could just be something we can static post. Or sorry, static photo rather, then we can post it in the carousel of, the meet the commissioner.
Yeah,
So,
and this is me as a commissioner, not as the chair, so I don't my opinion to influence how you guys feel and decide which before, but I'm less interested in driving meeting participation as I am drunk. I'd like to drive all of our participation at meetings. If we said that. But I'm less enthused about bringing in more people to our regular meetings than I am bringing people to our key events and opportunities.
money. We go, but if you're interested in donating, here.
Yeah. But just in terms of like, we're gonna drive engagement on, I think we wanna drive engagement on the posts and the information that we're sharing. And have lots of engagement that way, so that when we have WME or something else, maybe we're trying to drive attendance and support, we have an audience that's already engaged.
Smart. Marguerite has her hand up.
Just wanted to add that I totally agree with Caroline about we don't really want to just drive meeting attendance. And I think if we're going to put anything in social media postings about our meetings, it should be a link to the county website that shows when we meet, where we meet, and tell how to engage. So there has to be some extra effort before somebody just shows up at one of our meetings. I don't think we want to look out at a meeting and find we have more people who are just coming for the fun of it as opposed to commissioners at the meeting.
Yeah, I feel like our meetings are, the opportunity for us to get things done.
Yeah.
And it might not always be that way, right? Maybe we'll get to a point where everything's moving very smoothly and operationally. We're not trying to use those meetings for business, but at least for now, we're still trying to keep ourselves organized. Those meetings are, we've had speakers and special guests and that kind of thing, but, I think we're good for now.
Do we have a designated link for people to donate outside of Women in Vision?
And even that, it's not, you can't, isn't it like checks? Can you donate online for Women in Vision? It's so there's no.
Yeah, so the only, people can write us a check or give us cash. And for the first time last year, we tested accepting Venmo at the account. I changed my personal Venmo handle for a day. That wasn't terrible, but leaving it wide open to do all the time.
Yeah.
Wouldn't work just because it's also my personal account. I just changed it for like 24 hours. So,
And there's like nothing to be done, right?
that's
that's the rule.
what I understand. Yeah, I mean, technically, the county does have those capabilities. They do it for other things like our taxes and like summer camp registration and stuff or whatever. So, we just don't have. I think we're also one of the only commissions that takes money like that.
Because everyone else is appropriated, they receive money for their activities from the county.
We do not.
But we do not.
Okay. So
Because we're with.
if the incentive then is to drive money and we only take checks, that's gonna,
Baloney.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
that's,
That's important.
is there any way we can change that or get around that or elevate that as an issue to our growth?
Yeah.
And sustainability?
I will say, just as like a what is it called?
Caveat.
Cost. No, just like a cost effort analysis, like, the people that we typically receive money from, the overwhelming majority are elected officials. And they prefer to write a check.
Okay.
But with that said, maybe that is because we can't accept payments in other ways. I don't know, like, I know I have a Venmo business account. I don't know if we can set up a Venmo or like a PayPal. I've done that with other organizations. And it's been like, all right, I have not set it up for the organizations. I have participated in a PayPal thing that hasn't been set up by another organization, and that was a nightmare. I don't know what that looks like from like a treasury.
Yeah.
Because all the money does go to the treasury. I mean, literally last year with the Venmo, I had it all collected and like collected it within that specific time period. Had it all collected and I wrote a check directly to the county afterwards.
Oh, okay, okay.
So okay. I was like the pass through. Right.
But in terms of people wanting to provide financial support to the
Yeah.
commission, I think, well, we had our 50th anniversary. Is that also a WOB?
It was the October of that year.
Did we do WOB at the same time?
No.
A separate things.
Yeah.
Just had a big 50th birthday, right? It's fine.
At a very expensive venue.
So when we've had these events, we've driven support, bringing specific to those events. We've never done just, if you're feeling good,
Right, because I think that would like elevate not only our fundraising aspects, but I think that's the way a lot of people, if you're like wanting to get into any activism or just feel like you're helping in your community, you're serving your community. The next way, outside of people, attending a meeting or not feeling they have time, you get around that with money. And so I think if we're like trying to drive up engagement, we should be ready to also receive funding, because that's how people are going to like feel energized. I feel like that's the next step. Like, oh, this is really cool. Oh, you're doing this for the community. How do I donate? That's often where people's mind goes.
that's me.
Yeah,
You write you a check.
exactly. I'm like, where do I
I'm not
donate? Give
trying
me
to sell wrapping paper.
Right,
You just
right.
pay.
Let me buy something. Let me give you a check. Like, that's where my mind goes. And so I just feel like we're missing out if the only way we can like receive funding is like through limited vision, and then they have to physically come and then write a check, and then we need the money before that even, so just.
Marguerite has her hand up.
If I may add on this subject, I just as much as everybody else would love to have a way for us to get money more easily, especially when it comes to women of vision. On the other hand, we have to look at the other side of this equation. We are under the county. We're not a nonprofit. We're not a legal entity even. We exist at the pleasure of the board. And so any funds we do collect go into the Arlington County Treasury. We don't have a treasurer. We don't have an accountant. And anytime you collect money from the public, you run the risk that the public asks, what are you doing with it? And give us an accounting. We can't even do that. We have to wait for the county to send us the report on the budget sheet where we are a line item that they are holding our funds. So before we get all excited about running out and collecting money just in general, we have to answer all those questions that any good self-respecting nonprofit would answer in terms of how are you going to report to the world that what you've collected, what you're doing with it, and the legal status of it. And we have none of those resources or mechanisms with which to do that. So I support continuing to focus on event-based things where we can say, because the people can look around and see the event, if you will, that this is what we collected for, and hope that we wind up in the black and have money left over to pull off a forum if we need it. Thanks.
Excellent points.
Yeah. That's reasonable.
Just before, I did just look up how to kick out now. You left me less information than I thought you needed, but yeah. Yeah.
The risk you run with that just.
Yeah,
I know that it's a been that's a trivial to me personally, and so I always have to grit my teeth when it's tax time in case I get a W-40 or what they call.
Yeah.
PayPal on Facebook and about, so save my money up there. Okay. Anything else we want to talk about communications? I think a point that Janine has made before that it's worth mentioning here, and it's not a requirement that everyone be on social media. However, engagement with the posts that we put all this energy and effort into posting will build the foundation for further engagement. And so at a minimum, those of us who are on, we should engage with those folks so that people, see us engaging, et cetera. And then also, like, if we're posting on Instagram and meet the Caroline, are we able to tag the actual Caroline?
You?
Yeah.
No.
I thought you could.
On Instagram?
Yeah, on Insta, you
Yeah, I
should
think.
be able to.
To tag her?
Yeah.
No, you've got your account, like super locked out.
Oh,
Yeah, that was since administration. Okay, I can.
It's like,
you can still at her. You may not be able to tag her, but you can like.
oh, yeah, it just doesn't hyperlink it.
Right. Yeah.
And then LinkedIn, I think.
Yeah, sorry, I was just speaking specifically about her. I was like, no, I try to add her all the time to take back the night stuff, and she's freaking blocked.
She might never getting by saying.
I left her.
Keep it private. We're too valuable.
No, this is
Can't lose you.
DEIA stuff, everything went down, leave me in the year, I locked down all my social stuff
Yeah.
and my. I think I did it at the OV.
You could get stopped at the.
You did. But I think that was cop out. I mean, if we're being honest here, did you really need that? Or would you have, sorry, if you were being honest, if everything wasn't happening in the administration, you would have tried to hide anyway.
Last year, I did not want to have my name.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We do still want to have brain care, we do still want to have an overall communications plan. I think all those things will help us feel focused, and organized. I'm excited. And our apologies to Jackson, Janine, for not, y'all did this last year when you were taking over.
You're all fired.
Yes. Yes, please apologize to us.
In y'all's inboxes.
No, we,
It's on the Google Drive.
we put it on the Google Drive that everybody technically has access to, but that was a short went.
Should we double check that?
Double check what?
Okay, Google Drive, is it the one associated with our email account, or is it the one that I have that I shared?
I don't know, I sent the link out to everybody though. Yeah. I don't know how to check that.
All right, we're set to stop at 5:30, maybe we can stop earlier if you guys want.
Do we talk about it?
What I was saying, so we can.
What about organization?
Violence real quick.
Oh, I was like, wait.
In the stuff that I can get in front of you, should have the green sheets. These are your year going back to 19. If you go to rallyingedge.org, these same sheets are on there. I used to compile the incident data in a different format from the website, but it's really hard to do. Jackson, I think you and I talked about this before, the way the county posts the incidents. And now they have this BI, powered by BI thing, and these dashboards and data and stuff. I just wish they would make the data more accessible. Anyway, so basically what I do is go in every year. I used to do a monthly, now I do it at the end of the year, and I panic. And I download. It's not a download. It's not, in fact, at all. What I do is this screenshot and print the incident data over the time period. And then I hand key it in to an Excel sheet. So you know what that means. There's probably errors in here. What it does, so I can do a couple things. I can compare the total number of rates in here by filtering and count them up on here and find that there's 36, and then count what I've keyed in and find that there's 36. The numbers I feel safe about. Might I have fucked up an address? The answers are yes. The addresses are rounded anyway, so they're not a precise address on purpose. I might have miskeyed an incident number. There's ways to double check the date on the incident number. That's not having in front of you, but I can show you. In the police reports for the incident number, it starts with the year 2025. The year is actually the year that it's reported. When the incident is reported. Yes. So oftentimes that year, the 25, will show up again in the next set of numbers, but sometimes it doesn't, and that means either it happened on December 31st, 2024, and it's reported on January 1, 25, and a lot of times crimes are reported weeks, months, years after they occur. So sometimes you can't rely on those dates to match up exactly. But you'll see that date embedded here, then you confirm it with the date that the incident happened. And then there's high level information in the data sets about where categorically the incident occurred. I did not bring these full data sets. For you guys to look at, if you have the trust. I do have an Excel spreadsheet that goes from 2019 to 25, and you can sort it. Things that are interesting to sort are looking at incidents that happened on school grounds, and then using the address data, you can figure out which school it was. As well as businesses, it's sort of obvious if it says barn restaurant, and then you can kind of hone in on where it was on Wilson Boulevard. There's a lot of incidents where the address shows up as, I think, 1400 Courthouse Road or something. One of them is the jail, and another one is, I think, the police department, sort of headquarters address. Sometimes that's on purpose as well, either because the incident is protected or involves a child, or completely unknown, and they'll use that address as just sort of a standard. But looking at the 2025 data, we're on a decline, we think. There was 36 rapes in 25 compared to 42 in 24. Compared to 40 in 23.
Last time we saw numbers as low as 2021.
Is that number good?
Yeah. Is it underreported?
Likely.
Oh, for sure.
For sure there's underreporting, and then there's questions about why is it underreported. I think I think there's at any time a number of reasons why crime is underreported, but most often it's because community members don't trust the police or have some other personal reason why they don't want to get involved in a criminal investigation. And I think right now we're in a time, even if Arlington isn't itself experiencing police mistrust of citizens.
Kind of fear.
Sure, I'm in fear.
Do you know how we compare to other counties in Virginia?
I know how to find that.
I can, no, don't add more to your plate. I was just wondering if it comes.
So let me just tell you some of the resources that I use for all this. And what they'll tell you about, and this is in the state police document. So for every county, every jurisdiction, all the police departments have to send this data to the state for compilation at the end of the year in accordance with the Uniform Crime Reporting standards that's governed by the FBI. So everyone that files something as a rape, it has to be under this category, which rape, kind of capital R rape, includes forcible sodomy, object sexual penetration, and aggravated sexual battery. So when you look at this number is rape, and then forcible sodomy, object penetration, and aggravated sexual battery. If you look at a capital R rape or forcible sex offenses, category A, in the Virginia data, and you'd add these numbers together, right? So all of these above this line, felony sex offenses, are going to be rape, or forcible, I think forcible rape, forcible sex offense is what they call it. This is just a little more nuanced in terms of what type, but they're all that felony level sexual offense. So we just call them sort of rape. In the Virginia police data, you can search by and filter by county and jurisdiction and all these things. But the rate in Virginia the rate. Just looking at this one. The rate of sexual offenses, it's not dropping as significantly. It doesn't appear that the rate is dropping as significantly as the reporting for Arlington. I didn't look at the reporting for other jurisdictions, and you'd want to look obviously at other jurisdictions with similar urban areas. Education is going to make a difference. Family dynamics makes a difference. Who the community are, what they're all about really is going to matter with reporting. I can send y'all the link to the Preventive Crime Database. Oh, here's the rate. The forcible sex offenses in Virginia. Going backwards from 24 further out, the rate was 60, 64, 68, 65. 2020 was 54. And this is a per number, right? So just think.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because then if you're doing it per capita, it's gonna matter how many.
So I don't know what the answer is about why the reporting is low, but I can speculate it. It also happens that, if I go back and pull this data, because I pull the data at the end of the year, if I go back in 2 months and pull it again, I might find that there's additional rates in the data set that weren't there when I first pulled it. And I don't know when to stop that. Like I went down the rabbit hole trying to go back and revalidate back to 2019 to see if there had been new incidences added to the data set. Does that really matter? No. Is anyone really going back and looking at what Caroline counted versus what the county and the state counted? But it does tell you that, especially in some of these categories where the numbers are lower, that things get added. My hope is if things don't get deleted. Because once an incident is reported, it shouldn't be removed from the incident reporting data set. One other thing, and I don't know if this is happening, but I want to know, and I'll tell you why it's hard to know. The rabbit hole that I went down last night was about barriers to reporting based on victims being turned into suspects of crime. And I'll tell you the name of the thing that I went down a rabbit hole and learned that whether it's the backlash to the Me Too movement or just the overall sort of toxic kind of hyper-masculine environment we find ourselves in, there seemed to be kind of a higher trend. The reporting found that victims were being arrested for false reports and the cases were being closed. So not only were the incidents and counts of rape were going down, but these false reporting arrests were going up. The Center for Investigative Reporting reveal, I think it's going to go by short, did I think Ray DeLeon did a 5-year analysis looking into this. Why it's challenging to find this information is that when I pull up false report incidences that were charged in Arlington, I can see them. I can see that we had some, but we have no idea what the underlying crime was. So if you were arrested for filing a false report, I don't know what you claimed. I don't know if you claimed this on burgled your home and then they found out that didn't happen or what. So you'd have to, I think, either track the case through the judicial system or with the case number, or do a FOIA to get more information about the case and arrest and what the charges were. So there was a documentary that went along with this work that Reveal did. And I watched it last night, where they honed in on a couple of cases. Sadly, one of them was in Virginia, Abington, in Washington County. I don't know where that is. Abington, Virginia.
It's like
That's a city, right?
Washington County.
Washington County.
I think it's like Southwest.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
The trend that they were saying, and they looked at 500 cases where they could dig up more information. The trend they were saying with sexual assault was that the cases were being closed less than 48 hours after the incident was reported, and then the result was not that an investigation took place and the perpetrator was arrested. It was that the victim witness was charged with filing a false report.
So it's Southwest Virginia on the North Carolina line,
Um,
off of 81.
some of the reasons why police departments would do this is to one, reduce their workload, should thing to do, instead of leaving the case just open. It's also, you know, a bias that oftentimes police officers as a baseline don't trust women and their accounting. The documentary goes into a whole bunch of reasons why someone's initial account of the incident may not in fact be timeline wise what actually happened. And so most of these cases, a couple of cases, the police used a ruse and told the victim that they had gotten surveillance footage of the alleyway or the street across the street where it happened and whatever, and that the timeline didn't match up and that they didn't believe the victim and finally false report them and arrested them. Basically got them to recant their statement and then filed charges against them for false reporting. The documentary is called Victim/Suspect. Netflix is where I watched last night. But it got me sitting there and I'm all digging like, right, is this a problem in Virginia other than this woman, Diane E?
I remember, I stopped watching that because it pissed me off.
Oh, and they-
Yeah, that was like, that sounds familiar. I said, I have to turn it off. It was really irritating.
super irritating. So the two issues from a kind of policy perspective, like what can we do besides just be mad? You know, one is, you know, I can use the resources I have to try and dig a little deeper and see if I can figure out any of the nuance behind the false reports. And just check some of the sources that are available to see if we can illuminate anything else without having to pull it or something, right? Like that just feels like a lot. And then, sorry, I forgot to add that. Oh, other policy issues is, there's a research paper that one woman that's not in the program, she did a whole thing and I pulled that, was reading, she has some recommendations and a lot of them are around like making police officers more aware of trauma-informed this and trauma-informed that. And I'm like, yeah, we can, sure. But changing the world isn't as easy as we'd want it to be. My thought was something simpler, more straightforward, which is, you know, the barrier for charging someone with making a false report to police for a sexual assault has to be higher than just you lied to us. Like they have to do an investigation and determine with evidence that an assault did not happen. Not, we just didn't investigate because we didn't believe you and therefore we decided that you were lying. And I think from a legal perspective, that's something that we could advocate for in policy and legislative priorities. However, last year, 23, Virginia upped the ante on filing a false report. We went the other way. We made it, I think it's subject to a felony. What they were trying to address with enhancing that law was the issue of swatting and sending people to something, right? Like making that kind of a false report, which I think some of that shit came out of COVID era stuff.
Yeah, it was a trend on Twitch.
Yeah, so this isn't that. But Virginia does have a recent history of going the opposite direction. And I'm not suggesting that the crime be minimized, right? Or it's a slap on the wrist, but I think for sexual assault victims, it shouldn't even be a possibility to be charged with a false statement unless the case is completely investigated and they can prove with evidence that a crime did not happen. And every other type of criminal investigation, a victim witnesses firsthand experience and testimony is evidence of a crime. For some reason, we don't trust that in sexual assault cases. So I have nothing to share other than I'm intrigued and very interested and worried that, you know, we could be sitting here in Arlington and have this very problem happening and not know about it because the data is hard to get into. And if nothing else, right, anyone else watching that documentary, like Sasha saw it, I saw it, one of these cases happened in Virginia. One of the victims who was raped, she went to the University of Tuscaloosa, or University of Alabama. the Tuscaloosa police charged her with filing a false report and then also, theft and trespassing because she went into her rapist's wallet to look for cab fare.
Oh
Get
my
away.
God, are you kidding?
She took $3. And they charged her. She left school, went home and committed suicide. So these stories are out in the mainstream, right? And if other victims see that or hear that, maybe that's awful. You know, and then something happens to you, is that just one more thing back in your mind why you might not come forward? So all this to say, there's something here to look into, and another sort of trend and issue that we probably want to keep an eye on. I don't know what the answer is or what I can tell us to do, other than I can share with you guys the resources, the link for the article that, the attorney sort of analyzed and made recommendations about cases. And obviously the documentary that Immigration State had. There's also, I think I have the article from Reveal. It's just maddening. But yeah, so they spent, I guess, 5 years and they looked at, I think they looked closely at more than 200 cases.
Can you share that via email?
Sure, yeah. So I'll share this. I think this is kind of the best, broad study. This is the one that the documentary is based off of. In fact, whatever her name is, Ray DeLeon, Netflix followed her, I think, from sort of the last pieces of, her investigation of that 4-year period. So this goes hand in hand with the Netflix documentary. And then I'll share with you guys the links for these other reports and stuff.
Thank you.
I don't want to go out there. I'm certainly not going to do it, even on my personal sort of rally against rape advocacy stuff and say, we have an issue in Arlington, we're not, reporting is down. I don't know, maybe rape is down. Historically, rape numbers don't go down, right? That's just a number that doesn't really budge. If the numbers are going down, it's because someone's not reporting.
Can I just add, so I used to work with domestic violence survivors, survivors of rape, survivors of human trafficking. And the same organization I used to work for just came out with a report. They're in Northern Virginia, but they do survey advocates who work with survivors who are reporting that obviously like the climate of fear is impacting people's comfort level in terms of like reaching out for help, and even reporting, but also just generally engaging with the system, any system. And so I do think that, it is, there are resources already sort of, that we can use that highlight, again, that climate of fear that it is impacting the way survivors engage with services in the community.
You can put your fingers on any of that, like
Yeah,
the worst kind of
sure.
creative. I mean, it's more than a gut feeling. It's something,
Yeah.
verifiable.
The report itself is not only focused on Virginia, but the organization does have an office in Northern Virginia. And so I haven't looked at it. I know that they have surveyed nationally. This would be the third time that they survey like advocates, social workers, lawyers who are working directly with survivors of gender-based violence, period. And so I think that this is the third time. I didn't go in to look at the report yet, but the highlights that they shared sort of reiterated that, particularly with immigrant survivors, right now, there's a lot of fear in engaging generally with systems for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't want to speculate too much, but even a non-immigrant might be sympathetic to the plight of the immigrant community, right? If you just, yeah, I don't know, but if I'm walking down the street and, I don't know. Oh, might I not report? if I think that the description I give police might lead them into the immigrant community to look for people. I don't know, depends on the seriousness of the crime and, but who knows, right? But there might be a lot of reasons why people aren't reporting. But God help us all office because they fear that they're gonna become suspects and arrested for false. It's not a false report. I didn't think you said something, but you think of something else. Oh, I thought that the issue I was gonna talk, well, two things. One, at the fair, it came up, this train. At the fair, it came up, someone asked about, rape kits and the backlog. And the whole how terrible that was, and I explained earlier that wasn't currently an issue, that we solved that problem. But at least in Virginia, there's not currently a backlog. It doesn't mean that in any given jurisdiction or area that couldn't happen again if resources become scarce, but I think we dug ourselves out of that testing hole. The issue that I thought that I was gonna dive deeper in and bring back to you guys was about social media and videoing. I don't want to call it voyeurism because it's something different than that, but the attention seeking nature of social media and teens engaging with social media. And I had this book that I read, When Rape Goes Viral, and it looked at the cases out of Steubenville, Ohio. You guys remember this, it was 3 in 1 year. Steubenville, Ohio was a school in California, and then Maryville, Missouri. All very similar, young high school students. I think there might have been a football team associated in every single case, but right, and things got video, things on Instagram and YouTube, and sort of the social media and text and the smartphone stuff became all the key evidence in the case. While that's helpful in prosecutions, it's a whole new angle and level of evidence to support the victim's claim. And in a couple of these cases, to create the victim's claim, because all they knew is that something bad had happened. They didn't know what. But it's an issue because these are, underage people, and, why is someone filming this? To start with, why is anyone thinking that's a good idea? Because they weren't bystanders. They weren't people trying to make sure that the police weren't, right? Not that, it was, for attention seeking sort of weirdness, which in itself, creating that digital record and then sharing it with others is another crime on top of the sexual assault. I don't know if that's an issue in our community. I have no idea. Have you heard anything? I've heard one incident from Theo and his friends, but it wasn't, I don't think it was a rape. I mean, I guess it probably could have been statutory because I think they were all underage, but he knew a kid who filmed another boy and girl having sex, allegedly consensual.
There was a case in, was it either Loudon or somewhere west past Loudon? But that kid who he asked the girl out on a date, she said no, so he transposed her face using like AI onto porn. And when her parents were, and he disseminated out to people, and of course it got back to her, and when her parents went to the school board about it, there was like, there's nothing we can do about it because it's actually not her, like it's AI. But she was like, that's my face, like her parents were like, it is her face. And most reasonable people would not know that it isn't her. They're like, yeah, but it's not her, like it's AI imaging, so technically speaking, it's not a criminal offense, so we can't do anything about it.
Right, a civil case for defamation for sure, but you're talking about teenagers.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
wow,
exactly.
that's,
It was literally insane, because they're like, it's not disseminating child porn, because in order for it to be child porn, it would have to be another youth, and this is a grown woman, it's just her face on this grown woman's body, so there's nothing we can do about it.
yeah, the law has definitely not caught up with.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah, not at all.
Who knows if they're even gonna pick it up?
Exactly.
I hadn't heard.
Wait, does it impact women? Absolutely.
Absolutely not, right?
Right, if dudes were pasting dudes photos on dude
The heated
porn,
rivalry evidence.
right, that
we
might
would
be
see a
small,
case.
but yeah, well, yeah, that's funny.
Maybe that's what.
Yeah, so we turn, let's turn the table.
Recording.
kind of bringing this all back around to, you know, when we're engaging around Sexual Assault Awareness Month, I'll be interested to see what Project Peace and, that group, is focusing on. I don't know, what the teen trend is now. You know, ages ago it was, binge drinking and alcohol-induced, sexual assaults. We don't see that nearly as much anymore. Still happens, obviously, but it's not in the, high school set, where it used to be.
I thought high schoolers were having sex.
They weren't. That or there. Which is maybe why they film it when that one person does do it.
That's
Um,
not funny, I'm sorry. I should not have thought.
I got one thing to tell you guys about the sex crime data.
Are we gonna talk about the?
Oh, yeah, the event, there, thanks. Yeah, we can walk through that. So let me just say, and Marguerite and Susan were switching gears to talk about Take Back the Night. The two of the documents that you guys had, we have one is the blank form. So if someone has a great idea, they should do a thing. If you want to do a thing, you need to make a form, you fill out a form. To do the thing. So I use Take Back the Night as a way to talk through the event and what all. I'm tired of talking. So the topics for Take Back the Night are sexual violence and sexual assault awareness and prevention month. As not the founder of Take Back the Night, but Rally Against Rape, the purpose of Rally Against Rape was to bring awareness to, the prevalence. When I say prevalence, I don't mean like overprevalence, but the prevalence period of sexual violence in Arlington. Before I started digging into the data myself, I probably had the impression that there wasn't much rape and sexual assault in Arlington. If you get the police news, the police crime report, daily things, you almost never see it in there. And I've been told that that's on purpose. So you have to go into these other data sets. So if you're relying on that to be police news, that's police news that's selected for sharing. You have to look at the data sets to actually see what's really going on. Please get to decide what they put out. So when I started doing this work, it was to figure out what is really happening in Arlington, not to scare anyone or freak anyone out or to argue one way or the other, but just to be transparent about the incidents of that type of crime in our community. And then to bring attention to the fact that you can't get a rape kit in Arlington if we send our victims to Fairfax County, Nova Hospital to get evidence collected. A farce. They have a big Virginia Hospital Center right there on whatever road that's on over that. George Moses, I think. So Take Back the Night is a global event. It's always the last Thursday in April. It happens around the world. It happens on a lot of college campuses, but also in communities. And the primary purpose of Take Back the Night is to give a voice to sexual violence survivors and victims to speak out about their experience in the crime. Primarily for us, we call CSW as a co-host, I think, or presenting partner. We came up with some clever little something. Muscle. CSW has a table and we help with supporting the event. It's on April 30th, always the last Thursday in April, like I said, 7 to 9 p.m. Although somehow, I think last year I felt like maybe we should consider starting later, which maybe is not reasonable for foot traffic, but it seemed like it was still the brightest day when we were getting started. Not very nice feeling, but just whatever. A couple of years ago, we switched venue. We used to do it at Gateway Park forever, and then we switched it to the Village of Shirlington, just outside of the library and Signature Theater, the great venue. It's like a courtyard.
Gateway Park was great for so many reasons, but that airplane noise
Mm.
was atrocious.
And there's no parking.
Yeah.
Just vendor set up and that kind of, it was just difficult. It was a heavier lift. The audience is, anyone and everyone. I think the more survivors and victims that we have there, the better. There's an open mic portion is the most impactful part of the night. So having the survivors and victims to really speak, it's critical, I think, to be done. I listed a bunch of partners and stakeholders. I have noticed over the past couple of years, there was some of these, sadly, especially the nonprofits, some of them have kind of, evaporated. You've changed names. Like I'm not positive that PAVE is still, well, I think it still exists, but I think it's like maybe one person and a half. And Stop Street Harassment, I don't know if they do any more events, they might. There was a group, I don't need their name now. I think even like the Women's Center, I don't even know if they're still going in Fairfax County. The Network for Victim Recovery in DC changed their names, and then content, and it won't pair. Yeah, this is probably the group from last year that we engaged with, but not all of these came out. For sure, if there's anyone that you guys don't see on here that you know, has the best interest, well, I didn't feel like I have a spreadsheet of all of these past partners in it. It's gonna struggle to get, local universities to participate, it's been hit or miss. George Mason participated, I think, 2 years in a row, in Georgetown at least once. I would think, especially if these ones aren't hosting their own events, that this would be a really great opportunity for them to latch on, to a Northern Virginia, DC collaborative event. Again, a lot of that, like getting these partners together to, let's say, sponsors, not asking for money, but just to sort of co-own the event and participate. It's just a lot of work and it's time consuming. The cost, we've driven down the cost tremendously over the years. By my basement being the storage unit for most of this equipment now that we own instead of rent. So it doesn't take a lot to put it on, but donations help with things like signage, advertising, printing programs, that kind of stuff. There's insurance, special event insurance that I prepare for the event. But again, I think, like last year, we only raised a nickel, and I was able to, the most of the costs out of what we had from the year before. Anything we make over our cost, we donate to the Foundation.
And this is a collaboration with the Project Peace or?
No, but they're always a partner. So 2 years ago, Project Peace did during Sexual Assault Awareness Month outreach tabling every weekend during Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We, the Commission and Rally Against Rape, supported them in that effort. They didn't do that last year, but so very much hand in hand. And it's been better since it was removed. I haven't engaged with the new person there, but their outreach program actually below who I work closely with is still there. I have every reason to believe that they're going to be a great partner. So we did an after action review, but I'll just remind y'all of some of the stuff that we talked about last year, right after the event that we wanted to do this year to do better. I kind of sketched out sort of the outreach timing. The majority of the early stuff I do myself. The special event application, the permitting, the insurance, reserving the venues. save the date and reach out to partners and stuff, I'll just build out those information sets and share them with you guys if it can help, great. I'll blast out the partners that we've always engaged with and then, reach back out to them again, see if they want to sign up. The part where I can really use help is reaching out to potential sponsors, so I'll do a generic email to all of them. But even if like somebody can go behind me and say, hey, I reached out to you about X. Have you thought about it? And then most importantly, Marguerite, I think Janine, Jinder and I are talking about this, that Arlington Village being a unique area, especially with traffic. It's getting out into that area a couple of weeks before the event with flyers, talking to businesses, restaurants and others who are already there. I'm not even asking them necessarily to do a promotion. If they want to, great, that helps with them, like, yeah, after Take Back the Night, take this flyer and receive 10% off at the ice cream place, what have you. But even if they have an opportunity to post on their website or social media, I think there's lots of events that happen in Arlington that they do this with, but letting them know ahead of time, we're gonna be out there, what it's about, come listen, come join us. Shouldn't that come to a lot of traffic from Harris Theater, so it's probably worth technical time, below the sky and the like. But going out to the village at least twice before the event, just being on the ground, handing out flyers, talking to people who, live, shop and dine in that area, I think would probably go a long way. I think a lot of people came up to the event in the past few years and said, oh, we had no idea you guys were gonna be out here. Oh, we're on our way to the theater. Well, if you would have known, we would have come over there.
One thing that we do need to do this year is put the information into the commission, the Women of Vision. Like we need to have slide, we need to put it into the program so that people are taking note of them.
Yes. Yeah, in the past, the Arlington Strike just donated the flowers and we put a thing on the table. I think they just hesitant to do all that last year.
Maybe, but we just need to put it in the program too. Additionally, since we're both fundraising around the same time, and I know it's a little bit different with your commission commitment to Arlington Strike Foundation to donate leftover funds, but
By the way, I've never raised enough money to cover the cost and donate to Take Back Night.
okay, well, maybe. Is there a way that we could dual fundraise, like be a sponsor for this and that?
Yeah, but honestly, I'd rather not take away from Women Division. That costs a lot more to put on,
Okay,
and there's no backup for that.
okay,
If Rally Gets Rate doesn't raise enough to pay for itself, the backup is. Right, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not as expensive.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like a better sound system than we had before, better microphone. But if we don't have it, it's not the end of the world. If we can't pay for a care for WOV, that's a different story, right? So I like the idea of fundraising for WOV for the event, and then using WOV as a platform to say,
Yeah.
come out and do this.
So you hate my idea, you hate me.
I'm just going to take money away from WOV,
So you hate me. No.
right?
No, that makes sense.
Are we sitting on a ton of money from last year?
I guess maybe.
One it does.
It's really lucky. Courtney, can you give me a status update on that when you have a moment?
Sure.
Surprise. That-
I'll request it tomorrow, the balance.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll request it for my DMF.
I can take a second, everyone. I did asking, I hate asking, but I sent an email with my bio and the questions that Sasha provided, the photo, and a couple of the social media ideas for the month I volunteered for in August. So this sliding a little bit back to
But
the.
you already did your homework,
Yeah.
Wow.
getting here?
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
okay, I have a picture, and just in case you don't.
You already.
This is the energy we're bringing to 2026, people.
That was.
Let me know if you need a photo.
So that was. But yeah, it's
And that's
like,
for August?
yeah, I volunteered for August, but my
Like-
bio month is dry. So I tried to specify that, so, you know, Sasha, it's easy and clean for her.
Don't worry, we'll mess it up.
I'm also gonna, oh, feel free to mess it up. My birthday's in August, which is why I wanted it in August. But, you know, when you like keep it organized, and I also said, whatever I share, I'm also gonna put in Google Drive, which will be a lot more organized and cleaner for them to navigate, as well. Whenever I find that link, thanks. But yeah, it's just, so everyone has like something you could look at and be like, oh, okay, so write this and that, and that. Or I forget.
Thank you.
And then we can all try and one up each other.
Okay.
Oh, like in mine too, yeah. Start being like, I was in the Olympics twice. Yeah. I also have solved world hunger.
Maybe we probably could, but.
But women.
The rabbit hole that I went down last time, so, I mean, it was good. I didn't get mad and turn off like Sasha did. I got mad, started taking notes. And then I started like printing off articles from people who were interviewed, and I started thinking like, somebody we can get as a guest speaker for the event.
The only thing that's made me so irritated recently is Black Rabbit. The end, has anybody watched Black Rabbit?
Yes.
I feel
Have
like
you
I
seen the
had
season, the end, the last episode?
No.
Just wait. Just everything pissed me off. Like, it's so dark, and then Jason Bateman's character is so annoying. Like, anyways, it was, yeah, you should watch it though. It's a good series.
I seen that. It's got Bateman, and I feel like I had to have seen it.
There's Bateman, yeah, it's Jason Bateman and what's his name? Jude Law. Jude Law.
Oh, I've seen it. I don't, while we're talking about shows, there's a show called Broadchurch. It takes place,
Love that show.
you see it? They just dropped a new season. No, and it opens with, a sexual assault, rape kit, forensic exam. And we were watching it, and I was telling my husband, I was like, if only that's happened in real life. I mean, it's brilliant, right? Like, they make it seem like a not terrifying process. It's kind of the gold standard for how it should be done. It's definitely not how it happens in real life, but if you're interested in seeing how that goes down, that's Broadchurch. Right, guest speakers. 3 years ago, now? Here's the last year we had it at Gateway Park. I had watched during the pandemic, somebody meowing.
I heard it, yeah.
For the last hour, it sounds like actually farming into the different.
Oh, I hear that over here.
Having the ceiling.
I hate my brain these days. Okay, the nuns in Baltimore,
Oh, yeah, that lady.
Teresa is her name.
Mhm.
But what was the show on Netflix? Right, so this is what happens. Caroline goes down a rabbit hole on Netflix, gets really mad about some documentary she sees, and then tries to get famous people to come out and speak. And it's worked twice. Teresa from the nuns, I'm not giving it justice. What is that show called?
The maid one.
No, this was a documentary. It was about the Catholic priests, but it was a school in Baltimore where a bunch of students were assaulted and then a nun was murdered.
Yeah, then, what did they? It's not the.
But what's, I stay in touch with Teresa. They've done great work in Maryland to, roll back the statute of limitations for sexual assault victims.
Watch The Keepers.
Thank you, the keepers. Initially, the Catholic Church was able to bar the cases on statute of limitation claims. But especially with child sexual assault or teenage sexual assault, or honestly, any kind of sexual assault, the trauma, your ability to identify, that an assault took place and reconcile that really can't be tied to an incident date. It's not fair. So many states are doing away with the statute of limitations in sexual assault claims. Similarly, you just want to go down rabbit holes of things on the press that surviving Ohio State. This case just got returned from the Supreme Court. There's a number of I think they counted, I think close to 175, don't quote me, hockey players, wrestlers, football players, and students at Ohio State in the eighties. I think in the early nineties were assaulted by a medical doctor and athletic trainer, very similar to the Michigan State cases, I think, except that these were male college athletes. And Ohio State and the Board of Trustees tried to bar the claim based on statute of limitations. The Supreme Court just said, no, nice try. So that case has been sent back to the district court to be tried, so that could be back in the news soon. But watching these things makes me think, is there anyone local? Is there a reporter or a lawyer taking these cases on who might be willing to speak? 10 years ago or more, when we first did this event, was remembering about the sexual assault in the military. There was a local attorney who was prosecuting those cases from these women, and she came out and spoke. I can't think of the name of that one. Anyway, if you have any ideas about guest speakers, we're not tied to doing that, and I don't try and force it if it's not natural. But it can help bring interest, especially if it's in sort of a popular culture sense that people are like, oh yeah, I've seen that. If the keepers sort of serve that purpose. But Teresa was also a great speaker. She's a phenomenal survivor. Okay. You wanna shut us down with some WRB planning, get us fired up? How we gonna, let's get fired up. If you remind you that some of us have never done it before.
Yeah.
And some of us have purposely turned away from participating in certain elements. And with the right kind of description, we might be tempted to come back into things like the selection phase.
You guys, WP is like so much fun.
How do you want to dress, by the way? Did that, sending it back, just so you know.
You bought a dress?
No, really.
Oh.
But,
Are we doing sequence event? Oh, wait, that was just.
You.
I was like, wait a minute.
Always down for sequence.
I said I wore sequence, and I was like, was that a thing?
Not, in the 50th, we all got real cute.
Yeah, we did. Women in Vision Awards, for anyone who doesn't know, is our annual event where we honor women in the community who are outstanding in their fields. So our three categories are nonprofits, business, and government. And so every year we open up a call for nominations, and we get anywhere from, I think in the past years, we've gotten about anywhere from 20 to 30 applications within those categories. And they get reviewed by a nomination committee, who then tells me who our winners are going to be, and so that's a very exciting day for me. So we just make sure that they're willing to accept the award. We have had someone who found out that they were nominated and asked to be withdrawn before, but that's a very rare case. This year will be our 38th year doing this. So the commission's been around for about, this will be our 52nd year as a commission. So we've been doing this for about 38 years. And it's really exciting to see all of the different ways that women in the community are helping. We've had some phenomenal honorees the past few years. I'm sure the whole 38 years, but we do this. So we could do this in a number of ways. We choose to do this by having a reception. So we on Wednesday, March 5th, 25th this year, we'll be having a reception. Usually about the first half hour, 45 minutes is just networking. People are registering. It's a free event, but we do ask for donation, and I'll get into that in a second. But so people just coming in, checking in. We usually have beer and wine as an option, and then some light finger foods. We try and keep it in a location that's accessible, either by metro or has parking available, or bus systems. The past in most recent memory, it's been held in Boston, but specifically for the past 2 years, it's been at the Virginia Tech Research Campus, which is right off of Glebe Road. So within that distance from Boston Metro. What else would I say about it? The program usually runs anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. It's usually we have some remarks by our chair and vice chair, as well as the chair of the county board and whoever our county board liaison is. And then to highlight the honorees, we show a quick video of them. It's about a 2-minute video of them that I record, and they get their little award, and they get like a little certificate and a statue award. And then we just spend the rest of the time kind of celebrating and taking pictures.
Can
So,
you say more about how you do the videos? Only because I'm curious. I've never been involved and they're phenomenal.
so I'm a photographer, and my professional photography camera has a video setting that I sort of know how to use.
That's like your camera. Do you go to their houses?
No, I guess not before COVID. It depends. I go wherever is gonna be quiet to meet with them. So last year or the last 2 years, I think that's been mostly people's houses because they haven't necessarily been affiliated with a specific location. Like last year I did, where did I do Rebecca's airport? Yeah, I don't even know. Wherever is gonna be quiet.
So I'm also impressed with like when you interview someone gets interviewed on TV, like I'm always looking at the background going, is that their house? Like, or is that a lobby in a hotel? Or is that,
Sometimes it is.
it's nice. I mean,
Yeah, like, Crystal last year was our, one of our honorees, and she was a musician in addition to a Rise mentor. And so she had a studio, and it was really beautiful. Like, she had done a lot of travel, so she had different things for traveling behind her, and her guitars hung on the wall. SC Neely, who was one of our, honorees last year, she runs a, counseling collaborative for LGBT plus individuals. And so I did hers at our office. So I cannot, oh, you know what, Rebecca's, I think we actually did at the chamber.
so how time consuming is it?
The videos?
Well, I guess I'm just wondering, like, let's say Janine gets hit by a bus and someone has to take it over.
It takes me, I probably spend like a half hour with them. I send them the questions in advance. And then I just give them a little bit of coaching. So so I'm asking them the questions. So I'm like, hey, Courtney, tell me what it means to be a woman of vision in Arlington. But what I tell her instead of her being like, oh, I think blah, 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 she's like, what I think it means to be a woman of vision in Arlington, so that my voice doesn't have to be in it. And that just helps with the time.
And you still have a tripod? So you're not holding
Yeah,
a
I
camera?
do. Yeah, and I purchased, microphone.
And then do you use like an editing software to make?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I
Thank
didn't realize you were doing it by yourself. I thought that we had somebody in the county that went with you.
No.
You
I would
were
never have done.
before.
But this is how I weaseled my way onto the commission, by the way. I was like, I can do that. And the first year I did it, I'm a photographer. Video is very different. We had 2 people that had co-founded a business together, and they were both being honored for the business section. So pretty busy entrepreneurs. I used the wrong cable and it recorded no sound. It was very embarrassing. So I had to go back to them and be like, hey, you guys did great. If you could just redo it again, that'd be even better. So.
Could we, after the award ceremony, could we post the videos on social media?
Yeah, we have in the past. Yeah. And then last year I was really excited too. I found a software that would, closed caption the videos, and that was like I was like, look at me being so inclusive.
The other night, just sidebar, when the pit, talking about TV shows, and we don't watch it, I don't want to talk to, just dropped, and we're excited, Friday night, watching the pit, Noah Wiley is riding his motorcycle to his shift at the emergency room, and there's this woman, white woman, in the corner of our TV doing this, and I was like, what the heck is that? And then she starts doing ASL.
Oh,
And I was like, weird, dude, weird. Like, what is ASL for versus closed captioning? Cause I've never seen a TV show or movie have a live little person in the corner.
Yeah, it's a new setting.
It was,
My kids accidentally set it up in one of our, yeah, and I was like, and my little one, it was like, well, that wasn't there.
yeah,
I
it
had
was
to, like,
really
figure out how to-
interesting, and it didn't go with like, yeah, it was super odd. Okay, sorry. But I was trying to think like,
I
who's
wonder
that
if it
for?
helps people learn ASL, like if you're.
No.
Or maybe if you can't read, if you don't, or if you can't read English, if it's not in English.
It's a ASL American Sign Language.
Truth. But isn't it symbolism? Like,
Yeah.
for motorcycle, she did.
I'm not sure.
That's all right, I rest. Closed
so-
captioning, great.
Before I go into the funding aspect of this or how we pay for this, does anyone have any questions about why we do this or what it is?
Do we honor men?
Why do we do this and what is it?
So, this used to be called the Person of Vision Award, and we would give out, we would give out, recognition to men. And yeah,
Yeah, we have them.
but the last year we had someone that didn't necessarily, they identified as they, them. And so, they, when they posted on their social media about it, they said, women, cross it out, person of vision. And I was like, well, if only you knew what kind of as for us. But yeah, there's not, there's, for the nomination, there's no like, what's on your birth certificate needs to be, we're not checking any of that. If you identify as a woman, have at it. Or if you identify, whatever, I don't know how, yes,
Margaret has her hand up.
yes.
So time for my soapbox. Back when Carolyn and I joined the commission, it was called Person of Vision. And I recall the meeting where I just got so incensed as they were talking about male candidates and nominees. We had to actually have this discussion about why were we the Commission on the Status of Women and giving women the recognition they're due and that men don't need additional recognition. There was actually a couple, and have been over the years, a couple of not stray nominations that come in where men say something to that effect, that there needs to be something for men as well. But we're all about women and we're not embarrassed by that. So that's where we are.
The whole world is there.
Margaret,
Margaret, the White House, that is their person of vision. I'll trade, if they want to trade with me, and I can have the White House at Fortune 500.
Good job.
They can have, you know.
I think Marguerite and I were tabling together at the fair when a man came to tell us that there should be.
Oh, I remember that.
Commission on Status of
I
Men.
remember that.
A man came up to.
So Marguerite, that's interesting that you said it was just in you and Caroline's time. I thought that was like in the 90s or like earlier. I didn't realize it was as recent as the early 2000s.
Yeah, it was like,
Yep.
like 1 or 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome to this one. I can get through the process.
No, they can figure it out themselves.
You guys use that line instead of that, I'll trade you.
500.
Okay, so, now I'll talk about the kind of like funding and logistics. So the things we need for this, unlike, Caroline's event, this event requires a lot more because of how we've chosen to set it up. So we choose to have the beer and wine. That is an obstacle for us because we cannot pay for the beer and wine. We have chosen to have the light hors d'oeuvres, again, it's very expensive, so that our cost gets driven up with catering. What else? We have to have a space to hold this in for the accounting facilities. We have to rent a space. So those are the kinds of things that this event is very easy to do. But when it comes to those challenges, and actually getting money from people, like we talked about earlier, those are the things where if you have ideas or, you know somebody that runs a restaurant, one thing that Arbra has said or mentioned is like, East West Cafe, I think it's called in Clarendon. I don't think they're open at night. They serve beer and wine. They have a kitchen. They have space. If you have connections with somebody like that, it doesn't need to be somebody exactly like that. The space would probably need to hold about 100 people and open. That would be really helpful, as we're planning for this year. Again, keeping in mind either free or paid parking, if we do live in a urban environment, or metro or super transit accessible. So like a place like Shirlington, not necessarily metro accessible, but they do have a big transit hub there. Just to give an example, it doesn't need to be there. But if you have ideas of places like this that you either frequent or that you
know of or have a relationship with somebody at, that would be so great to connect me. Yes.
Could, like Central Library work, they had that wedding
We
over.
can't have beer and wine there.
Oh, true, okay.
Yeah. But I love where your hat's at. And I don't know how they got away with that. Did they have a dry wedding?
They did it for free. It was
Yeah.
like all over social.
Yeah. It was really cute.
Who's wedding?
Somebody won a lottery.
The lottery. But I mean, I saw it and I've never seen anything from Central Library before, so.
Yeah.
The library held the lottery to offer someone.
You could apply to have your wedding there and just say.
Oh,
like,
enter
yeah,
gallery.
obviously they apply for it. That's what I'm saying, because you're not purpose.
Right. Bizarre.
Yeah, back to cafes. So, yeah, if you have a relationship with people or know something like that, that would hold that space and not charge us. I mean, look, there's lots of places in Arlington that will happily charge us to shut down the restaurant or rent us a private room, unless you, have money to support that. And just to give you ideas of what kind of money we're talking about, is that this event usually costs around $5,000 between all of the things. And that is where I really need your support. All of the other things I can do in my sleep, but finding a location, and we really need to get a location nailed down by like. Yeah.
Is there any reason why we can't use Jim and Jeff again?
No. It's just kind of a pain in the ass for people getting into the building.
Is that the place we used last year? Oh, so we're not doing that because it's.
I know, we at a very, last resort, we can use it and I can start like engaging with them just to see what that looks like to make sure our people are still there.
Okay,
But it's also a very bland room.
yeah.
I mean, like, there's no harm in doing it there again,
I
but.
love that freaking place.
Really?
We're in love with it.
I
I
always have
like
issues
the,
with
like,
fair
stunning
getting in, yeah, yes.
You may have mentioned this, but Susan put in the chat, does anyone know if AED has finished the renovations?
They have finished their reservations, but it's a county facility, so we cannot have alcohol.
How much is the budget for a venue?
The venue, so just.
It
Don't
was
mind.
Marguerite that put that in, and.
I'm
Janine,
sorry.
We've had beer and wine there lots. Every year we had it there.
That was before
It was perfect.
it was
Commandeer.
prohibited.
Okay,
The
Thanks.
policy changed.
okay.
Yeah, there's always an issue with the caterer being able to get a.
Right, so if it's a restaurant bar in existence already.
We can buy the food and do all the beer. So, and like last year too, the caterer allowed us, they basically brought the drinks and allowed us to, I totally forgot about this. They brought the beer and wine. It was a new caterer. They were fabulous. I really liked the spread. I think that the food was a good hit, but they brought the beer and wine and we paid for what we used. And we sold tickets for the first time using the Venmo account. The only issue was that what we were getting charged for literally bottles of Miller Lite was like $11 a bottle from the caterer, and I could not pass that cost. That just seemed insane to me. So I paid for the difference of the beer and wine. So we sold tickets for like $7 or $8, and whatever the balance was, and it wasn't crazy, but that's not, I would rather give my money to take back there's other things I can do with that money that would be better for social justice. Yes.
We are smart connected people. There has got to be a venue in this area that can meet all these needs
Yeah.
and not stress us out. Okay, Courtney.
All right, Susan has a comment. Let's see if we can hear her. Susan, can you unmute? You're muted.
How about that? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can't hear you.
Oh,
No.
good. I might have.
No.
a plate.
We can't hear you.
No.
Susan.
You cannot. Oh, darn. Hang on, let me leave and come back.
I'm not gonna tie East West Center, but just, in thinking about venues and stuff, and it doesn't have to be just like Virginia Tech or whatever, but for our programming, we do want enough space where people can gather, but not be on top of each other, and we can deliver remarks and things.
Okay,
Be heard.
how about this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yay. All right, I better speak quickly. I may have a place for us. My apartment building has, it's called the penthouse. It's not a penthouse, but it's the social room upstairs on the top floor. It's about the 21st, 22nd floor with a gorgeous view. They charge, I'd have to check what the fee is to rent the room, but it's possible we could get it and they allow alcohol. You bring whatever you want in there. So parking is just an issue, which everybody knows around here, but that would be the case wherever we have it around here.
Right, so any place where we can just rent space is on the table. The challenge is though, then we have to find a caterer.
It has to be open to the public.
Yeah.
They can,
Like, oh, God.
yeah, they can also handle the alcohol service, which isn't a given.
Ah, okay.
And so I guess space isn't the hard part. It's the combination of, but you say it.
Yeah, so I mean, like, that, a place like that would look, or would work, assuming that you're, it would be allowed to be open to the public. So anybody, we're a part of the county government, we can't turn anybody away. So I don't know how the apartment would feel about that. But
Well-
my ideal situation would be that we could pay a coffee shop. I'm just gonna go with that, like some sort of space that can hold, some sort of existing food and beverage location that can hold about 100 people,
Mm-hmm.
that already sells beer and wine, and that we could just put together a package that's about $2,500 to $3,000 to be there for 2 hours. That's my ideal location.
Right, and even more perfect, especially from an economic standpoint, for them would be a place because East Western are normally not open at night, so they're not turning away other customers,
Yes.
right? We're not trying to compete with other people coming in and stuff like that. We're giving them business they wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah. Yes.
Would it bother you if it was like, we can spend $2,000 and once you go over that bill, we have to communicate to the guests, like,
Well, I will still be happy to sell beer and wine tickets if they would do, oh, go, sorry.
I don't think of, the bars that I'm thinking of would not be comfortable with you selling beer and wine tickets, but it would be a situation where you put down the money at the bar as like a food and beverage minimum, and then you just have to communicate to the guests that if they go over that, they have to pay on their own. Would that be something that you would
So if we were doing,
feel
so
classy?
in my head, we would have these are the beer and wines available, so it wouldn't be like a full bar, just to keep our costs in check. Well, we're not paying for that. I don't know what that looks like, but in my mind, we would pay for the food and people would be on their own for the bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or in that scenario, so that it's not tacky, drink tickets sometimes work with admission, right? So like, that way you don't have people,
But we can't pay for it, so.
right? There, you guys are really, okay.
I had an event, through work at Northside Social, and I think it ticks all those boxes. Because they've got a big upstairs area, they've got a big back area.
They do.
got a front. But there, I just don't think all 100 people would be able to see like a screen for the actual presentation part of it.
They're also open until like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, so it's probably a buyout situation.
Yeah, yeah, for the event that they're.
So, and I looked at doing events at places like that before, and that's probably just to give you a rough, like $8,000 to $10,000.
Well, ours was like a government like retirement ceremony.
Okay.
So there's like no way our client would have approved something that expensive. I can check with our events team to see how they write this.
And it could be that things have gotten cheaper, meaning business is down generally, so they're
Yeah.
more flexible to have a guaranteed source for a night.
Yeah.
So it might be worth, I mean, if there's venues out there that we think could be really
Yeah.
perfect, let's not.
No,
turn it
yeah,
down.
yeah, if you, please.
But you're
Like renting out a floor.
Huh?
Would you accept like if the whole top floor was for us and that there were people on the bottom floor?
I would accept that, but Northside Social wouldn't work for that, because there would be, if the.
My ride is here.
Okay.
Away, otherwise I have to walk.
Thank
So,
you, Adriana.
yes, so good to see you, thank you.
Great.
A place that would not work for this, and I wish that it would, is like Idio's Coffee House on Columbia Pike, because it's like an L. And it would never fit 100 people. If there's 20 people in there, it feels like you're breathing everybody's. So just to give you an idea, but yeah, so like North End Social would be perfect, like that, like, you know, bottom area. I mean, if we had the top two, that would be a perfect location, because they definitely could have the capacity to do it. But I feel like, because we would need to get in there to set up at like 5 o'clock.
Right.
And that's 5 hours of them not generating.
Have we ever done, since we had done Virginia Tech last couple of years, have we ever done it at like the falls, or the George Mason's in Virginia Square, or like the Marymount University?
We have reached out to North Mason a few times and they've just not had the space to do it because they do have a like a community benefit program that we would be eligible for, but they just have not had the space. I should reach out to them again. That's a good, so yeah, George Mason, but they do have another space there now with the fuse opening. So yeah, universities are a great idea. They usually have their own I think Virginia Tech, because it's just a satellite campus or a research center, we don't really have to worry about this. We do have to get our caterer approved by them, but that's usually just like, do you have insurance and a valid alcohol license?
And back in the day, we did Enrica.
Oh, God.
It's just not cool. There's a vast difference between the ambiance at Virginia Tech versus Enrica. It just feels like a basement.
Yeah.
But that's on the cheaper side.
Yeah.
I had an event at the Marymount University across from the Virginia Tech campus, and it's really pretty, and they're like, the dances while you're even on the second floor,
Yes.
like not even reserving a specific room, but,
I think you still have to rent, like pay a fee for it, or there's a fee associated. But yeah, that space is beautiful, beautiful. And I don't mean to crap on Virginia Tech. It's very minor. If we had to do another event there, they are great to work with. It is not bad by any means. I just think that trying to put all these pieces together and like carrying the alcohol cost is hard.
Okay, so say it again, what your ideal location is, so we can all use our brains, but then we're sort of all saying we can think and get back to you, but none of us are specifically responsible for it, so we're basically like putting it back on.
So it's our social media list.
Yeah, it's our pledge.
Yeah.
To forget about you.
The mechanical bull part.
Didn't we?
And we need each woman a vision ride the mechanical wall.
To be the ultimate women in vision. Much of the death. Sorry.
But also,
Didn't we write this down on like we wrote down like all of the criteria, like
We probably
under
did.
2,700.
Oh, yeah, I just saw this in last year's.
There's a picture and email
Yeah.
somewhere that
It's-
we can reshare against, so everyone has the checklist.
It's on the drive. I'll
Oh,
look
it
for it, but I will, probably make edits.
is there anywhere on Columbia Pike? I know all of those businesses are hurting right now because of the construction.
Still have the construction going on?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Maybe I haven't been inside their location, but Empanadas.
They
Oh,
have an event space.
No, none of these places have event spaces.
Oh.
We're just going to use their entire space to serve our needs. That's what we're looking for.
I haven't been in there either.
Yeah, I think it's pretty small.
What about the bar that's on the corner? Right where Lost Dog closed. I don't even know what it's called now.
Oh.
Revolution or that?
It's called, oh my God, Cornerstone.
I mean, I don't know what kind of business they do, but again, knowing that like Lost Dog closed and just seeing all these shops like just decimated.
Boston.
But in Boston, or in Columbia Pike, West River's Pike.
Sorry, now I don't care.
It was my Friday night thing. Lost Dog sandwiches in the pit. Then I got the pit back, but no Lost Dog sandwiches.
Okay, ideal is in Arlington. Metro accessible or transportation accessible, easy for a diverse group of people that we're having come to get there.
The Draft House.
Alma?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Theater place.
The
Yeah.
theater place, yeah.
Is that a party place?
It sounds expensive.
I've never been in there. I don't know. I was just thinking about the place.
It's also like the theaters, people would have to like sit down and stuff.
and they have a this ramp,
Yeah.
I've never been.
the floor,
Yeah.
yeah,
No bad ideas.
no bad ideas. I don't know if they have other spaces in there, I don't know.
Okay. What did I say?
Under 2,700. No, you didn't say. Yeah, metro accessible.
Yes, parking metro accessible. They already do some sort of food and wine, or will let us bring in an outside caterer for it. Beer and wine is like, if they have that, that is like golden for me. And will let us have a bar open for that they staff. We could probably staff it if we needed to, but, and we can't spend $3,000 on a location if they're not gonna also do food and wine for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the cost is not cut and dry. For a reference, Virginia Tech, we spend less than, I think the first year we did it was like $550, and like last year was like $625 or something like that. So that's just to give you a range for Virginia Tech.
What, why did the cost go up?
They were just trying to get new business. They just opened up.
The first year, yeah, that we were like new business, and then last year they still give us a great discount, but just
Oh,
wasn't, yeah. I mean, $75.
Their actual motivation is they use some of their marketing funds because it's a way to get their name out in the general public.
$75.
Is outdoor an option?
$550 to $625.
I'm thinking 5,500.
No, $550 too.
I was like, that's not so.
Outdoor is a, concern,
Huge risk.
because we're weather dependent, so we would need a,
It was pretty
Back
chilly lunchtime.
and it's before daylight savings time, so it's still a little dark. Or it's, I don't know, or it's not, I have no idea, actually.
I haven't been to Shirlington in a minute, but there's a ton of restaurants and stuff in there. Is there any place y'all can think of in Shirlington?
Astro Beer Hall, maybe?
The US football team had their banquet at Dudley's.
Oh, Dudley's is cute, but it's not very big downstairs.
Right, and the space we rented out, 'cause there's like a carve out that I think is usually closed off.
Yeah.
My one complaint was that our folks didn't bring in a, mic, so it's hard here, but.
Okay, so this is what I need for you guys to do is brainstorm ideas and locations of either who you have connections with or what spaces you think might be good, and send them to me by Friday.
No, but
No, I like that. I was gonna say, I know one place that could definitely do this. Unfortunately, it's on U Street. It's not in Arlington. Sully's. They rent out their top floor for $0. You just gotta spend $500.
No way, we need that in Arlington.
Yeah, but I mean, it's disgusting. Sully's on U Street.
yeah, that was.
But it's a good time, it's there in a pinch.
I think my husband wants to.
Good to see you. Yes.
Everyone.
Happy New Year.
Also,
I wanna go. When is it? It's next week?
I will.
What time is it?
6:30.
I might
I'll be there.
See ya.
Bye, Lisa.
Marguerite, Susan, we're gonna stop the recording. Do you guys have anything to say?
Isn't it,
Is that George? It's not coming to me.
I thought it was during the day.
It's just, that's what that was initially, I was like, this is
I guess frozen?
No, I just told that we were gonna end the recording.
Oh, did you end it?
No.
Not yet. Are you ready for me to end it? Or, okay.
Bye, guys.
I'm just
Bye,
gonna stop the
everybody.
Before we end, I just want to apologize for not being there in person. I'm not feeling well today. Thanks, bye.
Yes, me too.
Appreciate it.
Take good care, everybody.
You too.
Do we want to reach out to them or? No.
Also another.
Can I reach out?
Not being.
Entertainment purposes, because